penalty against Senegal in the African Cup of Nations as well, but he's done well since he's gone to Morocco. He's scored 14 goals in 26 appearances. I think what we're going to see from them is what we saw in the last World Cup. They're going to be a counter-attack inside. In the final warm-up game against Norway, they pressed very aggressively, but then they had a problem when Matsraoui, who was a doubt coming into this game, he went off in the 29th minute with a shoulder injury, and Norway took full advantage then. They did look very vulnerable down that side after the Matsraoui injured. They failed to stop crosses. I think that's how Norway actually got their goal. So we'll wait to see if Rafinha, I think Tim Vickery said it as well, down the flanks it's going to be really interesting. Vinicius Junior down one side, Rafinha down the other, but as we know, Hakimi and Matsraoui will like to bomb on too.
Just on Brahim Diaz, Dion, I mean, I mentioned some awful penalties that we've had at the World Cup here in America. Tina Turner, shocking penalty. Awful penalty.
It's hard, you know, taking penalties, Steve, let me tell you.
It was Diana Ross, wasn't it?
Was it Diana Ross?
Yeah.
Damn. As soon as you looked at me, I was like, I've dropped a clanger there.
He has a way of doing that, you know. He has a way. When Deno knows and you don't, it's like, what have I done here?
It's an age thing. You were probably only about 2 at the time.
Oh, come on. There was no need to come in over the top. I was 9. It was Roberto Baggio, though. I'm joking.
I was paying you a compliment.
Brahim Diaz had that horrible penalty, Dion. Horrible in the final of the Cup of Nations. And in the end, they lost it on the pitch. They've now won it off the pitch, and it's going with Cass. This tournament's massive for him, isn't it? To have ended that Cup of Nations in that bizarre and painful way.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. And this will be one of those stages where he'll think to himself, right, if I can just go about my business, play as well as I can play, make a bit of a statement, let people know how good I am and how I can affect the football match for my team, I think he'll be looking forward to it. He'll be looking to flourish, Steve, on this massive stage. The colour is getting even more. The stadium's filling up. The red's filling up to the right. The yellow's filling up everywhere else. It's just an outstanding spectacle so far.
Football's primary colour is yellow at a World Cup. There's no doubt about that. And the players of Brazil and Morocco are going to be with us very, very shortly. Let's hear from Lewis Hamilton, shall we? Because he's been speaking to our F1 team about his love for the Samba Stars.
Honestly, Brazil's always been my favourite team. Growing up in England, I used to love watching Brazil play. I think it's the colours, it's the culture, it's the team are just, the players just always looked the most skilled, you know, like they were so cool. And I just appreciate also where they come from, you know, the kids come from, many of the players come from the streets where they play with no shoes, and it's just something quite special about Brazilian culture.
That's Lewis Hamilton in front of us now. The stage is very nearly set. 2 more players, Dion Dublin, I wanted to ask you about. Tim Vickery said yesterday in Brazil was Valentine's Day. Marquinhos and Gabriel, who hugged each other tight when Gabriel missed that penalty in the Champions League final for Arsenal against Marquinhos PSG. Back together, and what a pair.
Yeah, and you know what you have there, Steve? You could tick most boxes. Experience, bit of pace, aggressive, can play on the ball. One will go up to head the ball, one will go in behind. They know each other so well, Steve, and I do believe if they can play really well, keep those wingers tucked in as well, Rafinha and Vinicius. It's going to be hard to score against them, but how can you write off Morocco? Their record so far, Steve, in the last, they haven't lost for 20, 25 games or something like that, Morocco. So they are in great form.
I'm 40, but you're obviously older, Ian. What do you think when you think of Brazil?
Undoubtedly, I am older, that's not in question. 1982, possibly the greatest side never to win a World Cup. Socrates, Falcao, Eder, Zico. It was superb, that side. An iconic game against Italy.
Dion?
Yes, Steve? You've got a question for me?
When you hear Brazil, what's the first thing you think of? What's the team? What's the players that come to your mind?
I think I'm a little bit older than Deno, so I think I'd probably think the same thing, Steve. Zico and all those players that we used to watch back in the day. And at home, in my house, my humble home in Leicestershire, we always used to want to watch Brazil. My dad was obviously a Pelé fan, and my older brothers used to watch the Revelinos and the Jairzinhos. I came in at Zico and Socrates, and you can't not be excited about watching Brazil, whether it's on the TV or here now. How lucky are we?
So lucky and so delighted that we can bring you this commentary. There's a great countdown going on around the MetLife Arena on the pitch in front of us. A huge Brazil flag and a huge Morocco flag, both almost the size of the entirety of the halves that they sit in. Gold and blue, electric lighting zooms around the stadium. 8 Mile comes out over the speakers. It's the kind of occasion which doesn't need that extra drama. It's a World Cup, and it's Brazil, plus the African champions, Morocco. And we are so nearly ready to go here in New York, New Jersey. That's what the official name of the stadium is. We're about 20 miles from the Hudson, but the World Cup just feels like it has descended here en masse. They talk about diaspora when it comes to all the nations of this tournament. New York is the perfect host city because it's flooded with different cultures, all kinds of sport. Later tonight here, it will be all about the New York Knicks. And can they win their first NBA title in over 50 years? That will be in the raucous inside atmosphere of Madison Square Garden. But this is open-air football. This is the World Cup. Brazil versus Morocco. As Carlo Ancelotti, the Brazil head coach, emerges from the tunnel down beneath us, the man with multiple Champions League victories, the man who is leading this Brazil side as the first man from outside of the nation ever to do so. And what a Herculean task it is for Mohamed Ouabi as well, Dion, the Morocco manager, to take over from Reguagui, who got them to that World Cup semi-final. That is some ask for him.
Yeah, and some pressure as well, Steve, but he won't mind it. I mean, he would have come here with that run behind him of all those lockouts, no defeats for Morocco. He'll come here with confidence. He'll look at his team, he'll look at his squad in the dressing room, and he'll think, yes, I'm happy with what I've got. I've got the quality, I've got the balance. It's now down to me to put these players in the positions that can affect this football match.
And there is that Brazilian yellow in the tunnel, as bright and brilliant as it could possibly be. Casemiro, the biggest and widest of grins on his face. Gabriel, 1,000-yard stare on his as the Brazil players wait to take the field here. The temperature has mercifully just dropped a tiny little bit. Not that it will be a big obstacle for the players of Brazil or Morocco, who are almost ready to join us. The referee is just chatting to the Brazilian captain, Marquinhos. And behind him, Dion, Alisson, who we haven't even spoken about.
I know. I mean, Steve, we can talk about both of these squads and we can talk about individuals. I think today's going to be all about passing the ball, keeping it nice and steady. Do not give the ball away because, as we've said, it's roasting here and it will be more roasting down pitch side. So keep hold of the ball, stay tidy, otherwise you're going to be chasing in the heat and it will affect you. So look after the ball, create chances.
Achraf Hakimi, a big hug for his PSG teammate there, right out in front of him. Marquinhos, the two captains, the Champions League icons now, you have to say. Don't forget, we've got full commentary coming your way at 2 a.m. of Scotland's return to the World Cup for the first time since 1998. Their Group C opener is against Haiti. By the time that kicks off, though, we will know whether the record winners, Brazil, have started their World Cup with a victory against the African champions, Morocco. Well, they've been booming Eminem out for long enough. It's time for the teams to take the field. 82,000 strong, helicopters above the stadium, white fluffy clouds, perfect football conditions. Brazil and Morocco open their World Cup in New Jersey, and here inside the MetLife Arena, Dion Dublin and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Steve. A World Cup is not a World Cup without the boys from Brazil. They are the only nation who have appeared in all 23 editions of the World Cup. And as they walk down the side of the pitch here in this cavernous, bowl-like arena that will host the final in 36 days' time, they will hope that they are competing for what would be a record 6th World Cup title. Carlo Ancelotti, the first non-Brazilian to lead Seleção at a World Cup. Penny for his thoughts. One of the first things that he did was to restore Casemiro to the Brazilian starting 11. His experience, his know-how will be vital. But they are going to face a real test here against Morocco for what is Dion Dublin, the best game in the entire group stages of this extended World Cup.
Yeah, I think there's a lot expected of both of these sides, not just from their supporters and from us, the media, I think from themselves as well. They'll want performances, strong performances. Not one individual can be carried today in this heat. You have to do your job, you have to do it well, and you'll give your team a chance.
The blue and gold fills the entire centre circle of the FIFA branding, the FIFA World Cup 2026. And around the entire centre circle, the 26 players have gathered of the competing squads, as now we have the national anthem, starting with that of Brazil. It's a roar to send a shiver down your spine. We could be in the American art. Brazilian supporters inside this stadium outnumbering the Moroccan counterparts by 4-1. However, those in red now will make themselves heard for the Moroccan anthem. And they did make themselves heard. There is the odd smattering of red interspersed with yellow, the dominant colour, for this three-tiered, steep, bowl-like stadium. But then there is a large chunk of red in the bottom and middle tier away towards our right-hand side under the clear blue skies and the sun shining here in New York, New Jersey. But overwhelmingly, it is Brazilians who are here inside this stadium.
Yeah, it is some spectacle. It really is. We are up in the gods, I've got to say, and luckily in the shade. We've just found a bit of shade, which is very, very nice. But I can't believe the amount of yellow shirts. What is it, 80%? 90% yellow shirts. But all the red shirts of Morocco have definitely stuck together in a nice little area there, so they can all be heard, they can all hear each other, and they can sing their songs together.
There was actually a little tifo display in the middle tier. There was 5 Brazilian players. I made out 3 of them, Pelé, Romario and Ronaldo, before the first 2 had been taken away. As the pitch quickly is cleared here in the MetLife Stadium. This is the first of 8 games that it will host, culminating in the final, and this is the team news. Alisson in goal. They've made the one change from the final warm-up game for Brazil that was against Egypt on the 6th of June. Wesley, who actually is pulled out of the tournament through injury. Gabriel coming in, but Gabriel partners Marquinhos, and Roger Ibanez actually moves across as right back. Douglas Santos is the left back. Alisson is in goal. A midfield of Casemiro, Bruno Guimaraes, Rafinha, Paquetá, Vinicius Junior and Igor Thiago for Brazil. If you've ever seen them and they're not wearing yellow, you'd be disappointed. And they are wearing that lemon yellow and the blue shorts and the white socks against Morocco in their traditional colours, the red shirts and the green shorts. And they too have made one change from their final warm-up game that was against Norway last Sunday. Ezel Zauli actually went out through injury, so he's since been replaced. But El Kanous, formerly of Leicester City, is the one who comes into the side. Bono is in goal, Hakimi, Riyad, Diop and Matraoui is the defence. And then you've got Boadi, Ouani, El Ainaouri, and then you've got Brahim Diaz, El Kanous and Sabari who will be up front. But this is the only clash in the group stages, the only fixture that will feature 2 teams that are currently in the top 10 of the world rankings. It's 6th versus 7th. We're also, incidentally, live on Radio Scotland as the hours and the minutes tick down to kick off in Boston. You'll hear that game both on Radio Scotland and 5 Live as Group C gets underway. And incidentally, that match will be replayed on BBC Television and the iPlayer at 7:30 in the morning. If you're a little bit bleary-eyed, but I'm sure if you've waited, 28 years for your first warm-up game, first World Cup game for Scotland, then you can handle a 2 o'clock kickoff.
And the bleary eyes as well. Take it all, take it all, take it in your stride. Remember it, savour it. Scots, it's a great time for you.
And this is a great game to get Group C underway. Scotland will play Morocco in their second match, and then they finish off against Brazil in Miami on June the 24th. But these are the 2 heavyweights. And there is a real sense of anticipation, and there aren't many empty grey seats as we're underway, with Morocco in their red shirts playing from right to left as we look. There was a lot of traffic problems making their way to the MetLife Stadium. I was fearful that there was a number of grey seats that were empty a short while ago, and I think that might have just been on that far side, them sheltering from the sun and wanting to get to their positions as late as possible. But in the shadows down below, Morocco coming forward on this near side with El Kanous, and they lose the ball, and then Ibanez will play it forward, and there was Casemiro just to tidy up and back towards Alisson, as already the Brazilian supporters are up and dancing in their seats, Dion.
Yeah, I mean, just watching Brazil in this yellow kit, it's the first time for me, and it feels pretty special, I've got to say. And they're just playing the ball the outside of the boot. It's what you remember about the Brazilians. But Moroccans there in a really nice, tidy shape, making sure that the Brazilians don't play through them.
Referee, incidentally, is Slavko Vincic, the Slovenian referee who took charge of the Champions League final in 2024 between Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund, as the Moroccan supporters are responding as well. Great atmosphere, waving their red flags above their heads as Morocco now come forward, and it's over the halfway line. Sabari will carry it out towards Hakimi, coming forward, trying to step his way inside the penalty area, and then the ball goes up towards the halfway line, and then it's with Issa Diop of Fulham, a former French youth international who actually switched his allegiance only in March, so this is just his 5th appearance for Morocco, as 3/4 of that back line play their football in the Premier League. Matsraoui for Manchester United, Diop of Fulham, Riyad of Crystal Palace, and then Hakimi, who will hope at this World Cup, should they progress, that he will become just the 2nd centurion for Morocco. Ibanez waits to take the throw for Brazil in front of Carlo Ancelotti. Debonair as ever in his suit. He must be boiling down below at pitch level in the suit in these sticky conditions, as Morocco get the ball out towards El Khanous on this near side, the left. Ibanez with a foul. Free kick to Morocco. 2.5 minutes played. Dion Dublin.
Yeah, that's good play, that is. El Khanous there, realising he's one-on-one, knowing he might have the beating as well. And Hakimi down the right-hand side, even though El Khanous is going down the left in his one-on-one, Hakimi's flying down the right-hand side, as if to say, if he goes past him, I'm going to be in a goal-scoring position. We'll be seeing that all day.
Well, El Khanous is going to take it. You'd imagine this would be an in-swinging free kick. About 6 yards in from the left touchline. Morocco playing from right to left as we look. The beat of the drum somewhere inside this vast stadium. El Khanous takes it, flicked off the head of Paquetá towards the far post. And then running back is Igor Thiago, who will clear for Brazil, but Morocco pick it up once again. And then this is with Matsraoui, who's right of the centre circle on the halfway line. And Morocco just chip the ball across then towards Bouhaddi with his bushy hair. He's another one who's switched allegiances, former French under-21 captain. He did so just a month before the World Cup, but he's highly rated as the Lille midfielder. And then back towards Riyad, and now with Diop at the back, and they play it patiently across towards that far side, keeping the ball very, very well. 4 minutes played. Matsraoui as left back for Morocco. Short forward ball. Sabari had dropped short, and then they've given the ball away, and Brazil now have it. And it is with Paquetá. Tries to win it back, lunges into the challenge, couldn't get there. El Khanous was too sharp for him. Back it goes to Bono, all in a light blue for Morocco. Short sleeve, gloves, bright orange boots for a very experienced Moroccan goalkeeper. And now an opportunity for Ouani. And Morocco have Hakimi out wide on the right-hand side. Back towards Ouani. Bypasses Bouhaddi. Diop will keep it back for Morocco and gives it back towards Hakimi. Infield. Good play by Morocco. 5 minutes in. Good vocal support too. Hakimi right-hand side of the area. This is Brahim Diaz, shot charged down, knocked up in the air and sliced somewhat out of play by Casemiro for a throw to Morocco. They started well.
Good play, you know, by Morocco down that right-hand side. I think Bouhaddi should have given it to Hakimi a little bit earlier. And now we're there supporting on the edge of the box, nearly gets his shot off as well. Morocco being really patient in this final third, just trying to draw those Brazilian defenders out.
El Khanous twists, turns, shimmies a little bit as well. Matsraoui not used on the overlap, but now they find the Manchester United player level with a penalty. He is away from the challenge of Ibanez. It'll fall here to Morocco, and the shot comes in from El Ainaoui. It was blocked and cleared out towards that far side. But it's been a confident start here by Morocco, 0-0. And Brazil are struggling to get out.
Yeah, they can't get out their final third because Morocco are just jabbing away and just making sure they can find those little gaps. But what a chance for Anawi there. He's only 15 yards out. He's got to hit the target with pace. He absolutely fluffed his lines. Great chance.
Canus strikes from distance. Brazil are able to clear. Diop will win it back. Said to you about how they pressed aggressively against Norway in that final warm-up game, and at the minute Brazil can't get out of the half and the ball is played forward, and this is Hakimi who shoots across the face of goal, right-footed. It was never going on target, it was always going away from goal, out for a goal kick. But I would imagine that Mohamed Awabi, their coach, who only took charge in March, will be very pleased as to how they've settled.
Yeah, it's a really good start. I mean, it's a great strike from Hakimi. He's on the angle. He's not got a great angle to strike the ball, but Canus at the far post, if he just gambles and just gets it in that far post, he's got to tap in. He's waiting to see what happens. Hakimi across the box, rolls out harmlessly for a goal kick. Got to do more there, Canus on the far post.
Brahim Diaz picks up the ball for Morocco. Sabari makes the run ahead of him. In the little bit of the shades there of the roof, there's then a shaft of sunlight as the ball is played by Riyad towards Mazraoui on the halfway line. El Ainaoui won back though by Brazil and Rafinha. And this now is Thiago. There was no real width to begin with, and he drifted out towards that left-hand side. Rafinha, rare chance in these opening 8 minutes for Brazil at a walking pace to come into the Moroccan half. Ibanez. Back then to Marquinhos. Arsenal's Gabriel. Marquinhos to his right. Brazil is the chance from inside this incredible stadium that holds 82,500 people. Casemiro, forward ball. Rafinha to shoot, charge down. Mazraoui able to control it. Boadi now with the bushy hair for Morocco. Gives it to El Canus, and Boadi continues his run. And Boadi might open up for him here. El Canus, Brahim Diaz with a shot, blocked by Gabriel. Hakimi then runs into Gabriel and commits a foul, and it'll be a free kick to Brazil. 9 minutes played, 0-0.
Good play, Gabriel, that is. Really good play. I mean, Morocco could have had a shot 3 times there, but he put his body on the line when the shot came in, and then he had to get up off his feet as well because the ball just ricocheted back in behind him, and then a collision with Hakimi. But again, he put his body on the line to make sure that ball went nowhere near his keeper. That's good defending, and that's why they are such a good pair in him and Marquinhos.
BBC Radio 5 Live, available on BBC Sounds. It's also live on BBC Television is this one, and you can watch the commentaries and then get the 5 Live commentary through the iPlayer or indeed the BBC Sport website. As Alisson of Liverpool gives it to Gabriel, back to his feet, goes to his right, Marquinhos. Paquetá was a heavy touch, and he's been dispossessed by El Canus, and El Canus on the inside. Opportunity here for Morocco. Oh no, he couldn't get the shot away, and then El Ainaoui is then given away a free kick, and Paquetá is a relieved man.
Sloppy play from Paquetá. What you have to do there when you're receiving the ball, he was 10 yards away from the halfway line in his own half, and he's not even checked his shoulders, tries to take a touch. It's a bad touch, and Morocco have gone. They're away. They're the with numbers as well. Red shirts flooding forward. Should have taken the shot on, took too long. But Brazil cannot afford to lose the ball in their own final third when you've got players and red shirts flooding forward.
There's a gentleman to my right, bright red sunglasses. As the ball goes up to Sabari, Sabari will shoot. That was blocked, comes out to Oanai on this near side, the left. Ball played in field by El Canus. Boadi now. He's got the trademark red fez to match that of his sunglasses, and a red flag draped over his shoulders as well, sitting in and amongst the yellow of the Brazilian supporters. thousands of Brazilian fans inside the MetLife Stadium. Mazraoui. But I would say that Morocco are dominating the possession. I can't see the possession stats, I'll try and find it for you. But they've seen a lot of the ball in these opening 11 minutes as El Khanous in field. Mazraoui forward. Sabari has made the run ahead of him. Marquinhos able to clear. And then Bruno Guimaraes falls to the floor and gets a free kick, 62%. Free kick to Brazil. Guimaraes of Newcastle United was happy just to go to ground because they've struggled to get out of the half.
They have, and what they've done when they have got the ball back, Brazil, and they're trying to play the ball into midfield. Their midfield players aren't holding on to ball. They're not checking their shoulders. They're giving the ball away again. And at the moment, Issa Diop and Riyad in the centre-half partnership of Morocco have had nothing to do really apart from just talk to each other, make sure that you're concentrating. There's not a big gap between them as well, so it makes it difficult for Brazil as well.
This is Ibanez, the right back, being tracked by El Khanous, and El Khanous with a little trip there. And the referee was well positioned. Got certainly a better view of it than we have, high up here in our lofty position. Don't think.
Have you ever been this high in the stadium? Did it come up? I don't think I have, you know.
No, I don't think I have. I feel as if I could just reach out and touch one of those white fluffy clouds. That's how high we are. With your long arms, you probably would be able to do that. 0-0, 13 minutes played. Paquetá look towards Rafinha. Rafinha holds onto the ball. Vinicius Junior is out wide on the left-hand side. Vinicius Junior now darts forward, enters the area, works over the cross. Thiago couldn't get enough on it. He tried with a downward-headed motion. It might have just brushed his forehead. He's got a rueful smile. He couldn't get the flick header.
I've got to say now that is an absolute sitter. He is 5 yards away. All he has to do is connect with the ball. Vinicius Junior goes down the left-hand side, shall I say. Just swings it. I mean, he's 5 yards. He has to score. Just put your head on it. It's an awful miss, and it's the best chance that nobody scored this World Cup.
Well, it's only his 5th appearance. He scored 2 goals in his previous 4, but you think for a powerful target man and the success that he's had at Brentford, that is a sort of an opportunity that you can only dream of for your opening game in a World Cup.
Absolutely, and that situation there, having been in it many, many times and having missed chances like that many, many times, you think you've scored before you've scored. It's too easy for you. All you got to do is nod it in. He gets ahead of himself, no connection, awful effort.
Tim Vickery telling Steve that he was criticised for some of his poor touches back home in Brazil. I'm sure that there'd have been hoots of derision. Tossing the remote control away in anger and frustration at such an opportunity that was squandered.
But it's a gimme though. As a Brazilian, you have to have a silky touch. You have to be able to bring the ball under control. As a professional footballer, that's a gimme. But as a Brazilian, you've got to be able to do that before you do the rest of your silky stuff. Do the simple things well.
15 minutes played. Brazil 0, Morocco 0. Here in the MetLife Stadium, as Thiago with a clear foul on El Khanous of Roma. He's the son of Yunus, the tennis player, who reached 2 US Open quarter-finals. As we get a glimpse of the great Ronaldo watching on. Imagine what he'd have thought about the chance that was missed by Thiago.
Taking a guess, it'd be 1-0 now if he was playing.
Brazil with a throw right-hand side. Ibanez to Marquinhos. Stroke then to Gabriel. Bemoans the lack of movement in the midfield. It was extremely static. Bruno Guimaraes actually raises his left hand to apologise and then actually promptly makes himself available and then lays the ball to Marquinhos. The noise is that of the Moroccan supporters. They're encouraging everybody in red to get up, to throw your arms in the air, to stand up and to make some noise. And it's catching on as well. As Brazil on that far side, the left, will get a throw. Just the one chance that we've seen so far. Steve had said that the temperature has dropped, but it's still breathless inside the stadium.
It is, yeah. Very sticky, very humid. You can imagine what it's down there for the players, sprinting around in this heat as well.
I don't know about the players. I'm looking forward to my own drinks break in 7 minutes' time. I'll be asking you a question, and you've got to talk for a very long time, Dion.
I don't mind that, sir. I don't mind that.
0-0. Brazil in possession. Gabriel. Guimarães drops to the side of him to his right. Here he is now. But Morocco drop off the ball. They're quite happy to sit deep and to counter-attack. They're not fazed by that. It's the style of play that we've become accustomed to with Morocco. As Vinicius Junior, so much riding on his young shoulders, comes to a central area, plays the ball forward to Paquetá. Rafinha has stayed out wide on the left-hand side as the ball goes forward, and then it's headed on and picked up by Bono. And Bono looks for the early release. Downfield towards Sabari, but it's headed away by Gabriel. And here is Marquinhos, and all of a sudden now you just start to feel that Brazil are getting a little bit of a rhythm, getting their foot hold into the game, and as soon as I say that, they give the ball away. Then they win it back with Casemiro to Ibanez. Back towards Casemiro once again. His 87th appearance, recalled by Ancelotti. The previous game before Ancelotti took charge, they'd lost 4-1 to Argentina, and he'd been watching the game and he felt that they lacked balance, and Casemiro has restored that stability to the Brazilian team. Here is Mazraoui down below on this near side, the left. Riyad, a little bit sticky on the playing surface. Brazil will press and win it. Casemiro to Rafinha. Looks for Vinicius Junior. It was a sharp turn, but Hakimi was alive to the danger, and he's turned it behind for a corner kick, and then he berates his defence for not being tight enough.
Great play from Rafinha. Rafinha's taken a position in that little number 10 role, slightly deeper than the 10 role. The two centre-halves of Morocco are not sure, do they go or do they stay, because they've got Thiago to mark as well. So he's finding that really awkward position for Morocco to get hold of, and you know what he wants to do as soon as he gets on his left foot, looking for a shot, looking for that killer pass, and he nearly got his teammate in Vinicius Junior there.
A blue and white helicopter hovers overhead. That'll be providing, I'm sure, the aerial shots for those watching on television. As Guimarães, there's not much of the playing surface that still has sunshine, but Guimarães has found it over on that far side to left for this corner kick for Brazil. Far side to left, in it comes, headed out of the near post, only as far as Vinicius Junior, who tees up Paquetá. It was a first-time shot, a little bit off balance, right-footed, blocked, and the ball goes up towards the halfway line and running back. And tidying up is Douglas Santos, the left back, plays his football for Zenit, and back towards Alisson. 20 minutes played, still goalless.
Yeah, that's a chance. That's a chance. It might not have felt like it to most of the fans in this stadium, but that ball's been headed from the near post, and he's been headed to the edge of the box, and Vinicius Junior's there with all his quality. If he swings his foot at that and catches it, then it will end up in the back of the net. Give yourself that chance. I can't believe I'm giving Vinicius Junior some finishing tips here. How have I done that?
Here is Ibanez. Morocco, though, win it back. Mazraoui, diagonal ball. Brahim Diaz inside the centre circle, looks for Sabari. Sabari's onto this. Sabari with a chip! Morocco are at it again! They've taken the lead! What a cool finish that was! Brahim Diaz pierced the Brazilian backline, and Ismail Sabari latched onto it. He only had one thing in mind, and Morocco take the lead. Brazil 0, Morocco 1.
I've got to say, Sabari there is the coolest man in the stadium. He doesn't actually think he's going to get on the end of it. Then there's the miscommunication between the centre-half, which I think is Gabriel, and the goalkeeper, which I think is Alisson. Is it yours? Is it mine? Sort it out between you. They don't. Sabari's in. He actually had a bit of hesitation, then he puts his foot on the gas. Honestly, the communication between the defender and the keeper is terrible. But I have got to say, Sabari has just slowed himself down and chipped it over Alisson with all the quality you need. What a finish, what a start.
They topped their group in 2022, a group that contained Belgium and Croatia. They knocked out Spain and Portugal as they reached the last four, and that has got Moroccans celebrating, and that has silenced the Brazilian contingent here. Ismail Sabari, in his first finals, has given Morocco the lead, and a lovely goal too.
Yeah, a really nice goal actually. Brazil were just finding their feet as well, just finding a little bit of swagger. Rafinha was finding some space in that 10-0, as I mentioned. Thiago was starting to get the ball down on his chest and feel a little bit more comfortable. But I've got to say, when Morocco get the ball, they look forward all the time. They're not looking to keep it, they want to get the ball forward. And what a pass, and what a finish.
Brazil had 6 qualifying defeats. It was their worst performance since the format was introduced some 30 years ago. As we now have a drinks break here, and Carlo Ancelotti will get his players together, because he's going to have to use this drinks break to try and get some instructions across, because this goal, for a Moroccan side that likes to counter-attack now, they will sit in and they can break.
Now it's your time to get a drink while I talk. I think you're spot on, Deno, I really do, because Brazil were just starting to come into it. They just switched off. I mean, Marquinhos and Gabriel have been very, very secure so far, but that lack of communication, we used to say this back in the day when I played a long, long time ago, early shout sorts it out. There's no communication between defender and keeper. Alisson half stops, defender half stops. I've got to say, Sabiri doesn't stop. He finds a great ball in between the two defenders. I'm looking at it here on the screens. He's way onside, and he puts his foot on the gas and finishes it absolutely perfectly. I've got to say, when they've had the ball, they've looked more likely to score.
That's the voice of Dion Dublin on BBC Radio 5 Live. Radio Scotland are also taking this commentary here ahead of Scotland's game live that will come to you on both stations at 2 o'clock. You get all the build-up. Haiti against Scotland, first World Cup match in 28 years. Also gives us an opportunity to tell you what else is coming up on 5 Live. Australia-Turkey, 4:45. There'll be coverage of that in the early hours. We've got World Cup breakfast with Rick Edwards at 7:05. The Barcelona Grand Prix from 2, and then the 3 matches tomorrow, because it's just relentless. Germany-Curacao at 6, Netherlands-Japan at 9, Ivory Coast, Ecuador at midnight. And don't forget Royal Ascot next week as well. 5 days of racing, starting off with the Queen Anne Stakes that you'll hear on 5 Live at 2:30. And still we haven't got round to England's opening game, which is on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. You'll hear that live in Dallas with John Murray and Paul Robinson. England-Croatia live from Dallas. But here we are in the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, and after the drinks break, Morocco leading by a 1-0. And a reminder that Brazil haven't tasted defeat in any of their last 20 World Cup opening matches since they were beaten by Spain in 1934 by 3-1. They've won 17 and they've drawn 3, but they are behind to Morocco. And you think about the chance even more now that Thiago missed, when really Brazil should be ahead.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he'll be thinking. If I'd have put that away, then we are a little bit more comfortable than we are at present. I think Guimarães in that middle of the park has now got to stamp his authority on this midfield if he wants to get Brazil back in the game, because Casemiro just does what he does. So it's going to be after the vision of Guimarães and the calmness to get his team back in the game.
Here is Gabriel. He goes to his left, Douglas Santos, the left back. There's a challenge on Vinicius Junior, and that will be a free kick. Vinicius Junior now hits a diagonal ball, but he's overhit it. Didn't even bounce before it sailed straight out of play for a throw. I mean, Steve talks about it as well with his form that we've seen him, season in, season out for Real Madrid. You know, for them, he's had 20 or more goals in 5 successive seasons. But he's not been able to reproduce that type of form for Brazil. And here they come now on the counter-attack. Hakimi. Strong run by Hakimi. Hakimi still going. Right-footed shot, dragged wide. Nobody closed him down as he got to the edge of the area. Goes down as another chance. Goal kick. Morocco lead 1-0.
Yeah, and you know what? You can't travel 40, 50 yards with the ball and not have a yellow shirt close you down. And he got all the way to the edge of the box. And he took a shot on. Terrible shot in the end, but it just goes to show how quickly Morocco get forward with numbers as well.
Here is Casemiro holding off one challenge, running into Boadi. Referee, let's play continue. Mazraoui will pick it up now, runs forward, short diagonal ball. Brahim Diaz picks it up in the centre circle. Hakimi is to his right. Brahim Diaz still has Hakimi as an option and now gives it to him. Level with the penalty area. Brahim Diaz, left-footed, back towards Hakimi. Ounahi, Boadi with it coming forward, and we'll get a throw off the shins of Douglas Santos. They look a very, very well-organised side.
Yeah, they do, and what they do is they do play in areas, and when they get to a certain area, there's a lot of red shirts within that area so that they can find each other in the gaps and stuff. They're never left alone. They're always helping each other out.
They can sometimes lull you into a false sense of security. The possession can be slow. Then they're able to increase the tempo in that final third, playing those quick 1-2 combinations. They are a team that possesses a lot of pace, and they are leading by a goal to 0. And Brazil at the minute, not really happening for them. Morocco, 6 yards up from the byline, playing from right to left. Far side the right have got this free kick. Diop is an obvious threat with a set piece. Elanaou is also there. He makes a little run towards the near post. He gets his head onto it too. And it was a flick header out by Gabriel to clear the danger for Brazil. Picked up by the goal scorer, Sabari. Infield, Sabari makes the run. This is Sabari again. Shot was blocked. Brahim Diaz gets the ball back for Morocco, and in the end it was a rather weak, tame, right-footed shot that trickled its way through towards Alisson. But they're causing Brazil problems, and Brazil have given it away once more. I think they're abused, they're not happy. There's a lot of frustration from the Brazilian supporters inside this stadium. They've been very sloppy, Brazil.
Yeah, they haven't. They've not been able to get up to the tempo of the game because Morocco are playing at such a pace when they've got it and when they haven't got it. But Brazil just cannot keep up with them at all. They can't get back, they can't get forward.
You've got to admire Hakimi. He's currently a right-back who's playing left wing. This is Brahim Diaz, edge of the area, Brahim Diaz. He had Sabari, who just drifted out towards the right. But the movement from Morocco, the options that they've got, there's a lot of players who are interchanging. Ounahi drills it in low, partially cleared. Hakimi, he's everywhere at the moment, Hakimi. That was a right-footed shot that was a little wild. But he raced across to this near side on the halfway line, wins the ball, motors on. He's world-class.
No, he is world-class, and I think that's the standard that Morocco have set themselves there. His standards, his energy, his quality. He's a winner, he's won everything. I just feel that Morocco at this present time are very comfortable with this pace of game. Brazil are not very comfortable. Every little ricochet, every loose ball is getting won by Morocco as well.
Mazraoui. Elanaou in the midfield, just outside the centre circle, back towards Hakimi. He's gone back to his more natural right-back slot. Elanaou had gone on a lung-bursting run that hasn't spotted on that far side, and Diop will go back to Bono, the goalkeeper. formerly of Sevilla, as Paquetá to Vinicius Junior. Vinicius Junior runs forward for Brazil, enters the area. This is Guimarães. Guimarães threads it back towards Vinicius Junior. Cuts inside. Brilliant goal by Vinicius Junior. There was no stopping that. He came into this game with a lot of pressure on those young shoulders, and he has responded by firing Brazil back level. It's a game that's living up to its expectation. Brazil, to the delights of their 1,000 supporters, all in yellow around this stadium. We're back all square 1-1.
Wow, Vinicius Junior, wow, I'm kind of gobsmacked because I don't know how he moves his feet as quickly as that with the ball and the control from right to left. The drop of the shoulder to go, everybody knows where he wants to go, but how do you stop it? You get there, you stop him going down the wing, he comes inside on his right, and he just hits it so early, and it goes over the keeper's left shoulder, in the top corner, and there's no stopping it because there's so much pace on it. It's kind of very close to the keeper actually, but he just cannot get his arm up quick enough. It's just an amazing finish from an amazing footballer.
On his 50th cap for his country, he's now in double figures. Brazil needed that.
Yeah, they did need it as well, and it was always going to come from Rafinha or Vinicius down that left-hand side. Thiago's been looking after those two centre-halves without doing anything special at all, but they have been keeping their eye on him. And Vinicius Junior's just been floating about in that left wing, left number 10 area, waiting for that moment, and now he's got his arm up and he wants the ball all the time.
He only scored the 1 goal in Qatar in 2022, but he was involved in 5 of their 7 goals. And he's just gone and got his campaign up and running for this World Cup in 2026. BBC Radio 5 Live. Brazil 1, Morocco 1. And we've got about 11 minutes to go to half-time. Hakimi caught by Vinicius Junior. That will be a free kick to Morocco. Midway through the Brazil half, 10 yards in from the touchline. We've seen 2 excellent goals.
We have seen some very, very good goals, actually. I mean, the last one we've just seen there, Vinicius Junior, is just him. It's what he does. Sabari's finish as well was so cool and calm. He had a lot of time to think about it. When you start thinking about your finish, that's when you make mistakes. But we've got a free kick here for Morocco, and they've sent a lot of players forward. This is going to be Hakimi taking it. It's going to be an outswinger. 10 yards on the corner of the box, right-hand side, Hakimi's side. This will be good quality into the box.
So Hakimi's okay to take it. Brazil have got everybody back, bar Vinicius Junior inside their penalty area. Hakimi right-footed, headed out by Casemiro. This is Brahim Diaz, who'll clip it back in. Alisson has come out and has got both hands to that to punch it clear. The header from Hakimi then directs the ball back towards Matraoui, and he'll go further back towards his goalkeeper Bono. Right-footed, long clearance over the head of Gabriel. It'll run through towards Alisson. 1-1, 5 Live.
Yeah, Alisson had to get there as well, because right behind him, just an inch away, was Issa Diop at the far post. So Alisson had to get on that cross. He had to get there first, otherwise you'd have given a penalty away. So that's good goalkeeping, gets his team up the pitch.
The Brazilian supporters now ramping up the volume inside the MetLife Stadium here. Ibanez, the right back. Marquinhos gives it to him once more, but because of the presence of 3 red shirts, he has to go further back towards Alisson, and they'll have to build from the back once more, Brazil.
Yeah, that's the way that Morocco have done it in this first half. They've made sure that they go together. Not one player has been left on their own to do any running or dribbling or passing. They've always got a teammate in and around them. It's so important, especially in this heat, that you stay as your team, you go together as a team, you defend as a team.
Morocco, of course, a co-host for the next World Cup in in 2030. And Mohamed Ouabi, who's their new coach, the 49-year-old, the former teacher, he will be hoping still to be in charge. He's already brought Morocco success in the Under-20 World Cup in 2025. By many, he was the natural replacement to take over. But there is an expectation about Morocco with what they've done in the last World Cup and also the African Cup of Nations too. Bouhaddi. El Ainaoui now in the centre circle. Diop. Out it goes towards Hakimi. Brahim Diaz looks for the sharp turn. El Ainaoui was caught. That'll be a free kick. It's going to result in a yellow card as well. And that is for Casemiro, who goes into the book of Slavko Vincic.
See, that's a definite problem for Brazil. They're just off the pace of if it's a loose ball, they just seem to be off it slightly. And Morocco seem to be on the front foot. Brazil seem to be reacting, and Morocco are already there out the starting blocks, and that's happened 10 or 15 times in this first half where Morocco have got the bits and got something from that as well.
Alan Shearer talked about it, didn't he, about the lack of legs in the midfield with Steve ahead of the game. And you think that for Casemiro, 34 years of age, struggle, I think, to see out the full 90. Free kick then for Morocco. Line of yellow on the edge of the Brazilian penalty area. Goes out wide to that right-hand side. Brahim Diaz can't keep the ball in play. And Vinicius Junior acts as a cheerleader to whip up the Brazilian supporters behind that goal with a clenched right fist. Goal kick to Brazil, 1-1 here on BBC Radio 5 Live with 7 minutes to go to half-time.
Yeah, Vinicius Junior there just doing a left-back stint, making sure that ball goes nowhere near his goalkeeper's goal.
Goal kick's taken short. They try to beat the Moroccan press. Forward up to Paquetá. He gets a free kick. He's hardly been in the game, Paquetá.
No, he hasn't. He's not really had a kick of the ball at all. I don't think the midfield of Brazil have really sort of stamped their claim on this game yet. I think Guimarães has had a couple of good passes, but Paquetá can't get into it at all, and Casemiro's finding the pace a little bit too much at present.
Here is the former West Ham player, and now with Casemiro for the yellow shirts of Brazil. Marquinhos passes the ball to Rafinha, and Rafinha doesn't get any change of Mazraoui, who gets the clearance. Headed forward though by Casemiro. Bruno Guimarães battling for it. Paquetá snapping into the challenge. Bouhaddi though is the one who gets it away and then links up on this near side from El Khanous, and then went slightly behind Sabari, and they were unable to keep the attack going. Casemiro passes the ball forward. Just another bit of miscontrol there, this time by Vinicius Junior. Just wonder if in the heat the ball is just starting to get the playing surface might be dry and sticky. Here is Vinicius Junior coming forward. Without wanting to say I'm name dropping, it was something that Harry Kane had said was an issue last week in Florida.
I've heard it all now. Carry on.
Ibanez, but it will be heavily watered at half-time as Bruno Guimarães back to Marquinhos. 5 minutes to go to half-time here on 5 Live. Trundling forward is Douglas Santos. It was a problem position for them in qualifying. They used 7 different left-backs as they floundered at times in qualifying. 3 different coaches as well. The ball is hit long. Rafinha gives chase, bouncing ball, bounces kindly and claimed by Bono, the Moroccan goalkeeper, one apiece.
Yeah, you can see with this Brazilian side that they're 2 shining lights of Rafinha and Vinicius, the ones that have got the pace and they've got the skills to just turn this game on its head. They're just wandering around in and around positions that they probably wouldn't normally be, but they want to affect the game.
Vinicius Junior picked it up, decided to run at Hakimi, but Hakimi just stood tall and Vinicius Junior was upended as Hakimi not daunted whatsoever by that prospect, as now Paquetá delivers the cross, but it's too deep over the head of Rafinha. Puts the thumbs up, but would have needed a bit of better delivery. We get a shot of Neymar down below, not fit for this game with a calf issue. They are hoping though that he will be fit enough to play for the second game on June the 10th against Haiti in Philadelphia. As El Canouse overruns that and runs straight into Vinicius Junior, but he did ever so well to retrieve it and then nick it forward to Brahim Diaz, who's now running. He's got Hakimi to his right. Here is Hakimi with the cross. And Brazil with Paquetá, back header away only as far as Hakimi. He was struggling, and there was a foul on Paquetá from behind. Free kick to Brazil. 3.5 minutes to go to half-time, 1-1.
Yeah, they don't know, they seem to take so long to pass the ball, the Brazilians. They seem to have the ball at their feet, and they want to take their time to get the ball out of their feet and play the perfect pass. You've got to play it a little bit quicker, because this Moroccan side, they're on you. As soon as you have that ball at your feet, or it's on its way to you, they seem to be there, making sure that you don't pick the pass that you want. And Brazil have just got to speed up the game a little bit. If they want to get back into it, or get ahead, should I say, they've got level with that fantastic goal from Vinicius. But if they want to really start to stamp their authority on this one, move the ball quicker.
Any Scotland fans who are listening to us, waiting for the coverage to start of Haiti against Scotland from Boston, I would think would be wanting a Brazil win here, as Bruno Guimaraes is challenged by Masraoui. And Masraoui recovers well back at Bruno Guimaraes. That was a good tussle between the two, both back to their feet. Guimaraes plays it short. Boadi there is able to get it clear. Bounces away off Ibanez. And then there was a foul on Brahim Diaz, and that'll be a free kick. And the reason I say that is that Scotland-Brazil, as the yellow card is shown to the Brazilian right-back, so that's 2 Brazilian players who've been booked. But in Qatar 2022, Brazil's only defeat to African opposition was against Cameroon. It was their final match in Group G, because Brazil, having already qualified, rotated heavily. And that might be the wish of Scotland, thinking, yeah, Carlo Ancelotti, qualify after your opening 2 games and then rest as many players as you wish.
Exactly. Don't worry about us. We'll just go about our business. You just get your wins and leave us alone. Scotland don't need any help. They'll look after themselves.
Certainly, though, it's why there is the pressure and the expectation on the 3 points in that opening game against Haiti. 2 o'clock kick-off in the morning. You'll hear it here on 5 Live. 1-1, though, in this other game in Group C. Brazil and Morocco, and we've got just over 60 seconds remaining. Vinicius Junior chips the ball forward. Boadi heads it away. Picked up by Owen Ali. And then it's an opportunity for Brahim Diaz to try and skip his way forward, but he's faced by Paquetá, and then helped out by Casemiro. Ball played forward, foul on Rafinha. That will be a free kick just outside the centre circle in the Morocco half. 1 apiece still, Dion.
Yeah, one and two touch in the midfield for Brazil is the way to go. Morocco are taking no chances at all. They've got lots of players in that midfield area, and they are working incredibly hard as well to make sure that it's uncomfortable for them. Boadi in there is taking charge in that little 4-6 position there. He's playing passes out wide to Hakimi, Canoes, and making things happen.
So Brazil, wait to see how much stoppage time there will be at the end of this first half. In no real hurry to take the free kick. Paquetá, I think, is the player who's going to stand over it. Here comes the 4th official. So we're into 4 minutes of added time. And Morocco can break from that Brazilian free kick. Boadi is the one who's leading the charge on that far side, the right. Here is Boadi. Gets it back, 25 yards out from goal. Hakimi with his back to the penalty area, and then Boadi once more. This is Elanawi. Boadi, Diop. Every red shirt is in the Brazilian half. Every yellow shirt of Brazil is back behind the ball. Elanawi just waiting. Sabari was the one who drops deep. Nobody at the minute is occupying the 2 central defenders for Brazil. They do like to interchange. Hakimi once again comes forward. Ball rolls back, and then Diop takes it back into Moroccan territory. And Bono, the goalkeeper, in his light blue goalkeeping outfit, doesn't get the elevation and went straight towards Douglas Santos, the Brazilian left back. The crowd like that as the ball was just knocked up into the air by Paquetá. He gets it back and runs forward, running on his toes. Douglas Santos with the cross. Paquetá with a first-time effort, acrobatics, left-footed down into the ground. Bono makes the save. Turned it away towards his left-hand side.
Difficult skill that from Paquetá. He's actually passed the ball out wide, trying to get himself in the box. The ball's kind of behind him. He's about 5 yards in front of the near post. He's sprinting into the box. The ball's kind of behind him on his left-hand side, and he just tries to swivel and get something on it. Doesn't really catch it with any pace or vigour, but the keeper's scrambling, thinking this might go in at the far post.
Had he connected properly, that might really have caused Bono problems. Corner kick, Rafinha to take it near side the right, flicked onto the near post by Marquinhos, and nobody could get the finishing touch at that far side. It was Thiago, but he was some way away from getting it.
Yeah, he was, and it's a difficult one because it's a very flat corner from, I think it was Rafinha that whipped that one in, and Marquinhos gets across the near post and he just puts his eyebrows, we call it your eyebrow, just lift your eyebrows up and lift that ball over that first defender, and Thiago just cannot react enough. He's not too far away from him on the far post, but he just cannot react quick enough.
Dion Dublin with us here in the MetLife Stadium. Brazil 1, Morocco 1, and we're in stoppage time. As Diop heads it forward for Morocco, taken high on the chest by Brahim Diaz and runs into trouble. Guimarães helped out by Casemiro. Vinicius Junior drags the ball forward. Douglas Santos on the overlap if he wants him. Vinicius Junior though keeps going and challenged by Hakimi. No foul, says the referee. Hakimi then is dispossessed. Oh no, he was fouled, said the Slovenian referee, and that will be a free kick to Morocco.
That might be a good free kick actually on Hakimi, because there was red shirts flooding forward as well. It's quite clear to see, because our vantage point here is so high and we are right on the halfway line, and when Morocco go forward you can actually see the red shirts going past the yellow shirts, getting into attacking positions, and the yellow shirts are not quite getting there. So it's very clear to see from up here that they're a little bit laboured in midfield, Brazil, but they still have the quality in those individuals.
Almost 5 to midnight back home. 5 to 7 here in the United States, 1-1. And there indeed is the half-time whistle. We've seen 2 brilliant goals. Sabari giving Morocco the lead. Brahim Diaz with the forward ball. The chip from Sabari past the advancing Alisson after 21 minutes, but 11 minutes later, Vinicius Junior cutting in on that left side of the penalty area onto his right foot with a ferocious finish. Your thoughts, Dion Dublin?
I think it's been quite a good game, you know. I think Morocco have had, obviously, the majority of the ball early on in the first half. Quality was very good, energy is very good.
And just settle things down, which, again, comes to why I wasn't so surprised. I wasn't, when this isn't having a go at Keres, but when she said, oh, it's probably easy 6 points for them, that's why I said, no, I don't think so, especially when you look at players who are in the Bosnia squad. I know I mentioned Dzeko, who didn't play yesterday, but Kolasinac as well, seasoned guy across Europe, in Germany, England, and Italy now as well.
He's still looking very sturdy, isn't he?
Very, and a very good goal line clearance.
Amazing.
As well. So, yeah, I wasn't looking at, you know, Bosnia as pushovers, and I don't think anyone should have been.
Quick one on having now seen the 3 host nations. Who's going furthest?
It's tough because
Yeah, I know it's difficult to judge, but that's just why it's a difficult question.
No, yes, but like incredibly, they've all been handed really good draws and really good opening games, right? So I think we have to judge the opposition not being great. But yeah, I'd be a bit worried for Canada. I think it's good that they've got Qatar next. I think if they had Switzerland next and going into against a much better team, you'd say they'd be really struggling. But yeah, they look really nervous to me. And like, you know, Jesse Marsh clearly wants them. in his sort of showman style. He's like embrace the pressure, embrace this huge occasion. We have to stand up and face it full on. It's like big rhetoric, but they just don't look there to me, and they're really sort of naive defensively. So anyway, in answer to your question, I think probably USA. I think they really took the game by the scruff of the neck more than Mexico did.
Okay. We shall see. Just a reminder for all of you watching, listening as well, all of the World Cup coverage on the Athletic app is free for you to read, so do get stuck into it. The action now obviously fully underway. You can check out the World Cup tracker, which includes all the current standings, the forecast, the brackets, the schedule. It's got detailed tactical analysis on there as well. Plenty of news stories away from the pitch too. Dan Sheldon dropped a big story regarding Thomas Partey being denied entry to Canada for Ghana's opener with Panama on Wednesday. They're obviously in England's group. Also, he took us inside England's secret World Cup friendly as well. So you can check out those two articles and much, much more on The Athletic. Let's now get stuck into Brazil, because obviously Art has come dressed properly for the occasion. He's sort of aligned with Brazil.
Where'd you get that from?
This delicious chicken royale.
Yeah.
Got it delivered.
Burger King delivers.
And now introducing the new Burger Buddies box from Burger King, featuring 3 snackable icons: the Whopper, Big King, and Barbecue Steakhouse.
Do you know what? I'm wearing a World Cup top. I heard your chat yesterday about wearing a World Cup top. So I thought I would wear a T-shirt with England's last player to play a World Cup from the second tier of English football, Steve Bull.
That's
okay.
good. And to sort of also celebrate the fact that Wolves are now back in the second tier of English football.
Bringing that up as well. Even on a World Cup podcast, you managed to get that in.
Of course I will.
Thanks.
Of course I will. Let's talk about Brazil. 5-time winners, of course. Jack Lang has been writing in our Language of Soccer series that they're chasing the 6th. Carlo Ancelotti's side, they kick off with a great match up against Morocco, who made the 2022 semi-finals. That's in Group C. Later on, the later kickoff here in the UK, also in Scotland's group, of course. The Brazilian fans obviously will bring the samba vibes to the tournament. Do we feel that the expectation on them is unavoidable, but also maybe this time a little bit misplaced?
Yeah, for me, even though I'm rocking the shirt, I don't have very high expectations for them. And that's mainly down to the makeup of the squad in terms of age. I think their average age is 27, but you've got players like Neymar, David Luiz, Alexandro in the team. There are a lot of 30 pluses in there, which worries me a bit. Casemiro as well. I know he's played extremely well.
But you need a bit of experience in there, don't you?
Yeah, you do. But I just feel like if some of those guys are going to get a lot of minutes, it could be a bit worrying. I know Neymar's not going to be available for the first game.
Let's get stuck into the Neymar thing. Like, obviously, it was a controversial pick. A lot of Chelsea fans would have been going, well, hang on a minute, why is Neymar getting in and Joao Pedro's not getting in? He's also now injured for the first game. Carlo Ancelotti, has he dropped one a little bit here or not?
It's a bit of a weird one, isn't it?
It feels weird, doesn't it?
If he's not going to play, he's not exactly a Jordan Henderson type.
No.
Do you know?
Yeah.
And there'll be
is he not?
Well, fair. I've never met him.
You've never spent time with him in a Brazil camp. He might just be all fun.
He's never
and
been
laughs.
lying down on his sofa like Balogun.
No, to be fair, I mean, when you look at his Brazil career, the 2016 Olympics was quite a big thing. Obviously, he was playing, so that makes a big difference. But from what I can remember, a lot of people speak about how he was a real driving force in that Brazil team to win that Olympics. It was obviously a home tournament as well. So I think that I can understand why he's been picked, even with the injury doubts, whether it's, having someone who the players respect so much around the team and given a little bit of a lift in that sense. And also maybe having a little less of kind of antagonism towards Carlo Ancelotti himself when it comes to having to answer questions about why he's, not.
Welcome to Haaland's Bank, Revolut, where he can custom design his card to match his fit. Just magnificent.
Where is he? One last corner, 10 seconds before the whistle, and you think this is a good time to fill it a sea bass?
Yes? No.
Really, Terry? Useless. It's penalties, and you're doing a jambalaya.
How did you get in here?
I crawled.
Just grabbing more snacks.
Just get them delivered, you donut. What are you doing? Thank you.
You need to leave, Gordon Ramsay.
Who could cook at a time like this? Uber Eats.
Not picked one of the most loved players in the country. But my thing is, when it comes to the average ages, looking at the last 4 World Cup winners, so Argentina in 2022, their average age was 27. France in 2018, they were 25.6. Germany were 26.3 in 2014. And Spain in 2010 were 25.9. So those average ages are all kind of in a sweet spot, a 2-year sweet spot in the mid-20s. And I just feel like Brazil's balance is a bit too far the other side.
So you think because it's 27 point what?
So between 25 and 27, basically.
So they're slightly too high.
Yeah.
By how many points? Decimal points.
I haven't got the exact for Brazil.
They're not that far off then, are they?
But I just feel like there's too much there.
Okay. Do you agree?
Well, I guess it depends. It depends on how many of those players are going to start. Really, the thought. I mean, they've played a bit of a 4-2-4 at times under Ancelotti because the squad is so top heavy,
stacked.
And I think against Panama in one of their warm up games, it was 4-2-4 with Casemiro and Bruno Guimaraes is in the middle. And we've seen at Man United that Casemiro, when players stretched and he's no Kante,
exposed.
Yeah, exactly. So that would definitely concern me. But I think Ancelotti can only go with what he's got, and there's definitely an imbalance to that squad, which he hasn't been able to adjust. That was the first thing he said. I think when he was appointed, they just lost 4-1 to Argentina, and he said there's no balance. There's all this talent, but there's no balance in the team at all. But he's only had a few games. I think he's had 4 competitive matches at the end of qualifying. It's interesting that I think he signed a contract to 2030, so he sees this more of a long-term thing. Maybe he doesn't see this as being, I can win this World Cup and then move on to something else. He sees it maybe more of a long-term project. But the Neymar thing, is going to be a big story. It's going to follow Ancelotti around the tournament. He's by far still the biggest name in this Brazil squad. He's been the main man at the last sort of 3 tournaments for them. So it's a really interesting dynamic that he's now sort of like, I don't know, 4th choice, 5th choice forward. But the magic is still there. He lost it for a couple of years when everyone thought his career was done in Saudi, when he barely played a game there for like 2 years. But going back to Santos last year has reinvigorated him in a way. He's got his fitness levels back up, and he can still win a match. Of course he can. You just don't expect him to start very often.
Do we just think of Brazil as the old school Brazil, and we ignore the recent history, the fact that they've not been further than the quarterfinals since 2002? So that's 24 years, quick maths. And they've sort of fizzled out, let's say, to a certain extent. Obviously, included within that was finishing 4th in 2014 at home, which was obviously a big disappointment. It came with a big disappointment. Do we just are we being a bit sort of rose tinted about Brazil?
Yeah,
still?
they have a bit of a mythology about them. Certainly for me, like you grow up
I should really ask the guy wearing the retro shirt, but carry on.
No, but the World Cup doesn't start until Brazil have played, like for sure. Yeah, they have this mythology about the 1970, basically invented modern football. You know, Pele, the best player ever. You know, you're told when you're sort of growing up. Brazil won the first World Cup that I watched in '94. You know, with Bebeto and Romario and everything. So, yeah, but they haven't hit those heights in so long. Whenever they come up, and I expect this to probably happen at this tournament, they're going to look great. They're going to thrash a couple of teams. They're going to score some amazing goals. They're going to be must-watch team. But when they come up against one of the big European sort of 5 or 6 teams in the quarterfinals, that's probably when they bow out.
Yeah, I'm on similar lines because when you look at, for me, my first World Cup is 2006. Sorry. It's better than 2010, like Keris was the other day.
Yeah, I know. But I went before him. I remember 86.
Yeah.
But then 90 was my real sort of. Okay. But anyway, carry on.
But
kiddo.
But when I think of Brazil at World Cup, it's all about moments, really. It's not about, you know, getting deep into the tournament. It's Maicon in South Africa with that weird goal from the angle. It's the 7-1 against Germany, unfortunately. Neymar, even when we think about the last World Cup and his unbelievable individual goal against Croatia, they ended up losing that game on penalties. So for me, they're not a nation that I look at as real contenders. I look at them as a nation that everyone must respect and know about because of their history, but and individual players. Like this shirt is Kaka on the back because he's one of my favorite players. But as a group, as a collective.
Welcome to Haaland's Bank, Revolut, where he earns Rev points on his daily spending.
You know me too well. What if you?
I haven't taken them seriously for a while, especially when you look at the centre forwards they take to tournaments. I mean, Fred going to 2014, that's something that sticks out in my mind, and I don't think they've really rectified that area of the pitch either.
I think it's very similar to the last sort of World Cups with Brazil, but the difference potentially is Ancelotti, which is such a such an unexpected move. Well, I know it was mooted for a couple of years, but still an unexpected move to see him there. We know that from his work with Real Madrid, he can handle big name players and set a team up for a match. But it's just whether he's had enough time with the group. I think that would be the concern for me.
Yeah, I guess it just, you know, we've heard from Alisson, who's been speaking about Ancelotti and saying how sort of cool, calm and collected he is. The atmosphere's been transformed, he said, commanding presence, sense of calm. So in a tournament situation, I suppose when there is so much noise, quite rightly around the Brazil side, that you've got someone on the touchline that can just take the sting out of it and say, no, do this, don't do that, and keep it quite sort of, keep it simple, stupid sort of thing. I mean, I suppose it is a game-changing element that could push them further forward.
And when you look at his career in management, he's the best Champions League manager. I mean, when you're looking at that competition and how he got not just Real Madrid, but AC Milan earlier on to get to finals, win finals, and create that environment that allows players to feel free. I think you're probably looking at the perfect marriage in terms of a manager and a nation and what each other needs. So that's the big thing for them going into this World Cup, having that manager that can enable them to be themselves.
It's been interesting going through the comments